Hi guys, welcome to the Man United Agenda. Yes, we are through to the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. Thanks for everyone for joining us. But most importantly, thank you, Dora. You're back on and you're becoming a regular on these post-match reaction shows. Welcome, Dora. Welcome, Bath Time. How are you guys feeling?
I'm feeling great. Thank you for asking. I'm feeling great. I didn't have a good feeling about this game, in all honesty, before the match, but since we won, and I'm really happy about it.
I saw you on Richer Sports yesterday doing a preview for the game. I didn't actually watch the show, but what were you saying? If you just summarize, were you?
Well, besides the usual, Ten Hag is probably going to go. We are playing poorly and all that. I predicted for this match to either go to penalties and then we win on penalties because I believe that we could win on penalties. But if this, but I believe that Forest will have enough, of the fast-paced players to score one against us, or maybe it will end up 2-1. So yeah, I predicted maybe a loss, maybe a win, but in the end I leaned on the loss. And in all honesty, I'm happy that they proved me wrong.
Bath Time, we done a preview of our own. Proven wrong, were we? Was it that tough? Was it, We actually said it would go extra time. I think most of us said it would go extra time. But half of the guys in the comments felt that we would lose the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I deluded myself into that we were going to win 2-0. But at the moment, I'm just sort of basking in relief after another dreadful performance, in my opinion. But God, did we make hard work of that on Monday.
Yeah, we certainly did. I just want to say, Nottingham Forest, we played them a while ago, and I didn't think they were very good. I think we beat them when they went 2-0 up. We beat them 4-2. And in the game before that as well, I was thinking, this team ain't all that. We can beat them, And then they beat us recently. And I think with the injuries that we've had recently and the loss against Fulham, which seems to have been like a nuclear weapon or something, it's just exploded on all the fan base and everyone's sort of falling out with one another. I just thought, hold on a minute. Calm down, everybody. This is not the Forest, okay? They've got relegation woes and all that kind of thing. Yes, we've got injuries. But we got through, and that's the main thing. And what were you all worried about? This is what I want to ask you guys in the comments and you guys in the panel. What were you worried about after all? We dominated the game, I felt, and we got the result, which was deserved. The best team won. And we're through to the quarterfinals. Come on, let's do something. You agree with me?
No. What planet are you living on?
I don't know.
Do you believe yourself?
I do. I believe in myself. Okay. I believe what I'm saying is true. Let me just go through some comments because a lot of people jumping on now. Big up to DK Wilson. Get in there, he's saying. Big up to Matthew Bassett. How you doing? He said, evening all. Everyone on the channel, on the panel. Big up to Sub Vids as well. He said, go on United. Do you see what I mean? Big up to Munzie Talks. How you doing, Munzie Talks? Go and subscribe to his channel. If he's still doing the channel, I haven't spoken to him for a long time. He says, great win, by the way. We deserve better, saying, thank God, I missed the load of Josh, was out tonight. So we deserve better. It's a bit in your camp, Bath Time there. Andrew Williams saying, good evening all. Scrappy, but happy for us to get through. There you go. That's the positivity we're looking for. Andrew, do you want to swap with Bath Time tonight so we can have some happy people on the show? I'm joking. Lovely to see beautiful people on the panel again. I believe he's talking to you, Dora. Big T saying here, rolling the euphoria for another under par performance. That's Big T. He's in Bath Time's camp. Eddie Football Waffle, how you doing? Subscribe to his channel. He's saying, good evening all. Dropping my customary like. Well done, United. To recover somewhat from a West Ham loss. FA Cup winners to be. From a Fulham loss, wasn't it? Andrew Williams saying, I'm surprised Garnacho played 90 minutes. He looked legless after 10. Emma is in the house as well, saying, how is Felipe grabbing another person's throat? Not a red card. Good to see you, Dora, says DK Wilson. Getting enough respect in here. And Dora's even responding to everyone. And United Philosophy, Stefan, brilliant on Monday night. And he's saying, Everton. Evening, guys. Not a good performance, but going through is all that matters in a cup tie. Most certainly, got to get the result. Big T again saying, best team won. I take it you never watched the game. That's directed at me. I'll take that. Andrew Williams saying, wasn't a good performance, but Eric needed that. Yeah, sometimes you got to do that. Eddie Football Waffle saying, from what I saw, it wasn't domination on Monday, but more fine margin football. but United had some periods of possession, yeah. And Andrew again saying we had to go deep into the tank tonight. Does worry me if we have an impact like this at the weekend. And Tulumba, I'm always mashing up your name, says good evening. Good evening to you. A bit of a division there, Dora, in the comments. I'm saying we dominated the game. We're the better team throughout. I've got evidence of the chances that we created. They didn't really break us down, I don't feel. I felt we were comfortable and with a makeshift side as well. Just starting with the starting 11. Got Onana in goal, Dello, Lindelof, Varane, and Amrabat. That's the back four. I didn't expect that. Did you?
No, I felt that he's going to he's going to sit down Varane, who historically cannot play more than 1 or 2 games a week. I thought that he's going to sit down for the City game, and because there were rumors that he is questionable, I thought that Kwambala and what's his face, Johnny Evans are going to be a centre back pairing, and that Lindelof is going to start as a left back and Dalot on the right. So it was interesting. In all honesty, I forgot that Amrabat even existed, so I didn't even consider him as a left back. And then when I saw the starting 11, so all the questionable, guys besides Maguire actually started. So yeah, this makes sense.
Okay, and Bathtub comes in the midfield. We tried to work out what midfield lineup would be. We were sort of really scratching our heads about it yesterday, but he went with McTominay, Casemiro, and Bruno. Fair?
Yeah, no, I had no issues with that. Like all internationals, all decent players. You'd expect them to put in a better performance than what we saw tonight. And we also had Amrabat kind of playing in the midfield as well, certainly second half.
Yeah. Amrabat playing that left back position that, he's played a couple of times since arriving at the club. Crucial, I feel, because there's no one else to do it, and we had to call on him. We're going to go about player ratings and performance later on, but just want to say respect to him. And obviously, up front, Garnacho, Rashford, and Anthony. The return of Anthony, the guy in the... So in the Ten Hag's press conference yesterday, Dora, I don't know if you heard it, but he said Anthony's like one of the quickest over 10 yards. He said he's got a beating of most defenders out there. And he said when he comes back, he will try to win back his place. He's confident that he's got the character and resilience to do the business. You saw him back tonight. Were you happy to see him back in the side?
I would love to see Garnacho there instead of him, but since we are, we don't have Højlund, we don't have anyone in particular to play on that number 9. Rashford needs to play on number 9, and you know what? Jesus wept when he saw him in the number 9 position, in all honesty. So, I think it's reasonable, and I think he wasn't that bad, in all honesty. I thought he's going to... I didn't even think he was going to start, in all honesty, so I think he played okay, nothing special.
Okay. Bath time, anything to add about the starting 11? Because we are struggling with injuries. Do you think just to ask, do you think, like with the game looming on the weekend, do you think any of his decision making was based on that? Because we felt Varane wouldn't start. We were going to try and rest him for the weekend. Or do you think he just said, right, I'm going to take each game as it comes, not worry about the weekend, we'll assess it tomorrow?
No, like we saw around this time last year, Ten Hag put his strongest team out at every available opportunity. And he's under so much pressure, whether he admits it or not, that every game is essentially a must win, except for City, which is a must not get humiliated game.
Imagine
that's basically how I see it. So I think that I think he wasn't even thinking about Sunday. It was just get Varane on the pitch. Get Casemiro on the pitch, because get as many people that he trusts on the pitch as possible, and we'll deal with the fallout tomorrow.
Yeah, most certainly. All right, let's get on with the game. Not the Forest. Obviously, they've got relegation issues, but they were up for it. I felt they were up for it. You could see from the start of the game. And with the people we highlighted as a threat did play. Elanga yesterday with Dora. We said that Elanga, the striker, the big Nigerian striker up front, and Morgan Gibbs-White would be the problem for us. So they were on it today. And obviously, I think when you remember they're playing on the BBC's terrestrial TV and millions are watching that game. because it's live and free. So yeah, it's showtime. And we started pretty well, and he hit the post early on. I felt it was good, that was perfect for him. Now, bath time, you always criticise him. I think he's got a wonderful left foot. I've seen some of his goals. I've seen some of his goals at Ajax. Some of the things he does. It's just not coming up for him at Man United. But that would have been a great start. After 3 minutes, he hit the post with a shot from a nice move as well, don't you think?
Yeah, like he hit the bar from a short corner. But I mean, Omondi, to say he's got a wand of a left foot is generous. He's one of the most inconsistent ball strikers in the Premier League, and I felt he should have scored that. Like, there were others who should have scored as well, but if you were to give Anthony a chance, like his best type of chance, it's that one. Ten Hag said that when he gets into the team, he's got to come and he's got to show why he's there, and hitting the bar isn't why he's there. Like that would have changed the face of the game, and I was really disappointed.
Okay. Anything to add to that, Dora? That early chance.
Honestly, I was watching a static because my stream started dying immediately. But yeah, I think that any decent player needs to score that. But you know what? I'm not going to say, oh my God, he's the worst player in the world here. I'm not going to criticize him that much. It's the beginning of the game. In the perfect world, he actually scores it, but he hit the post, and yeah, I think that first half of the first half was I think United should have scored definitely, but in the end it didn't happen.
Most certainly, I'll go through the chances. So in the 7th minute, McTominay once again got into the box and had a header, and he headed it straight at the keeper, but it's a move down the right. I think it's Dalot whipped in the ball, and McTominay once again is the guy getting on the end of things. Mr. Consistent with his runs. That's a good sign. I thought after 7 minutes, we had 2 clear chances where we could have scored goals. McTominay, I mean, he put it straight to the keeper, but I can't criticise him too much for that, no?
I think you can. Yeah, I've very nice, Dora.
That's a good one, actually.
Give her an Oscar.
Yeah, we're still waiting on our bingo.
Yeah.
But the thing is that McTominay, because he's played so much as a sort of CDM, I don't actually think he's very good in the air, like for scoring goals. It's one thing he really needs to improve on, where he's mainly about making the first contact rather than directing it. So I think that is in the same way that Anthony's should be a goal. That should be a goal from McTominay. I mean, when he's doing overhead kicks and things in the box.
Did you see that?
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Landed on the roof of the net. But I think that McTominay, if you're a Man United player, you've got to be scoring those opportunities.
Yeah.
And after that, McTominay made a run off the ball, ran into the box, cut it back for Rashford, who sort of hit it over the bar. Another first-time shot, and this is after 17 minutes. So as Dora was saying, we had a lot of chances in the first half an hour. There's another one just went over the bar. And even the commentary, they were sort of dissing us, saying that we're not scoring our goals. And there's 3 good chances. That's what I'm saying. We had opportunities there. If we had better finishers or we were on it, we could have been 3-0 up and game over. And then McTominay had another header from a Dalot cross, which a goalkeeper saved this time around. That was the first half for me, but there's 4 chances there where I felt we could just taken one of them or 50% of them. We would have been 2-0 up and cruising, and no issues. But this is what I'm saying where I felt we dominated the game, because I felt overall we had better possession. They didn't really get in behind us. Only a couple of stupid mistakes. Amrabat missed passing the ball back and this kind of thing. Those are the only time they were really getting for me. So I felt we were in control.
You didn't. A more coordinated team would have scored quite a lot against us because they were consistently getting through. I mean, Amrabat didn't have the best first half, and he played us into a lot of trouble. Garnacho, I think was it Andrew said earlier, like he was legless. Yeah, agreed. He didn't have the energy. He was running into blind corridors, and I felt that they carried a threat all the time, but they just made poor decisions at the top of the pitch. And also the one thing that annoyed me a lot in the first half was well, all of them did, but Rashford in particular. I think when you talk about them chances, Anthony hits the bar, okay, millimeters. McTominay heads it straight at the goalkeeper, but it's on target. He gets his other one on target. Rashford's just a poor strike that is over the bar, and then he is not able to hold the ball up in the position that he's playing in, and he's constantly waving his arms about, and he's just a big baby, and you've got to go out there and be a man. And if I'm Ten Hag, looking at that performance and just how witless it was from him and the lack of courage and desire. I mean, I'm getting annoyed at home watching him because he represents me, but I don't know what his teammates must be thinking. Dreadful.
But you know what, Dora, what are your thoughts? Because you're saying don't know what your teammates are thinking, but what's the manager thinking about Rashford right now? And what's Rashford, more importantly, thinking about the manager? Because if you heard the rumours, then they're not getting along.
I mean, God knows what he thinks. I think he thinks that he can do whatever he wants. First of all, I agree with Bedtime wholeheartedly. I think Bedtime, this is actually the fourth time that I heard you say that he's a big baby and that he needs to play like a man. In all honesty, like I've been, for a few months here, and this is actually the fourth time he's been saying it. And that says a lot about him this season, especially. I'm seeing Anthony being better with his back to the goal than Marcus Rashford. Anytime someone just leans onto him, he falls back over. He's flailing around. He's, strolling around. He's lying on the pitch for half an hour, not going back to his defensive duties. And I think he doesn't respect Ten Hag. On the other side, you have Ten Hag, who obviously doesn't have options at the number 9. He feels that Rashford is the best player to do it because, first of all, he is still. Besides, despite him being absolutely horrendous, he's still our most paid player. He's supposed to be a team leader next to Bruno as well. He's probably our most valuable player at this point in time, and he needs to rely on his best supposed players. And of course, he needs to start. He starts him because he's available and he doesn't have anyone. And you know what? I've been criticizing Ten Hag of him because he doesn't look for solutions, but I think he feels that he doesn't have any. He doesn't have any other solutions than start this guy because, first of all, he is our best player. So I think it's mutual. But then again, I think Ten Hag is a much worse position because he needs to rely on a guy who obviously doesn't. First of all, doesn't play well. He's not informed, and he obviously isn't looking good. And you know what? I've been saying he is delusional. Why isn't he dropping Rashford? But he obviously feels that he needs to start every game. And you know what? I absolutely disagree with that notion because despite us not having a number 9, he played Anthony at Ajax as a false 9. I'm curious about what you guys think about it. You have solutions. Try something else. Cook something up. Like you're a manager, you're a coach. Do we have to see every single week us playing with 10 players on the pitch because Marcus Rashford is constantly isolated. He is cosplaying Invisible Woman every single game, and he doesn't do anything good for his team. When he gets to the ball, he either passes it too late or he is missing chances. So what is it? I really don't understand. But I agree with your notion, Omondi. I think it's mutual. He does respect Ten Hag, but on the other side, Ten Hag feels that he needs to play him every game. And you know what? I'm sick and tired of it. I've had enough of this guy.
You're not the only one, Dora. I think Andrew's saying here, Rashford offered nothing again over the top. Saying here, Rashford, when was the last time he played a clever channel run? And also saying here, he's stealing a fortune week in, week out. So are we throwing money down the drain, a bit like Mr. B throwing his keys down the drain?
Oh, a Monday.
Half time.
Oh my, good one. I love it.
Last time?
Yeah, well, I was actually going to say something else, which is Dora said something about Anthony, like playing at false 9 at Ajax. Did you see that moment where, like, some fullback like just smashed into Anthony down by our corner, and he ended up conceding a corner from it. I don't know if I don't think Anthony's got the ability to hold the ball up to play there, but I think that off the ball, I thought Anthony was all right. And also, the one thing I will give to Rashford tonight is that there seemed to be a bit more demonstrable effort in closing people down. It's still not enough, but there was a bit more work rate from him. And I think that, his point is that he's got to drop deep and receive the ball and stuff like that. So I'm not bothered about his runs over the top. It's just that his combination play and his hold-up play, it seemed lazy to me. It was always trying to do flicks and stuff like that. And to be honest, he wasn't alone in that. Like everyone was useless in the first half on the ball. There wasn't any quality. But Rashford stood out because of his lack of character. To me, he was anything that didn't go his way. He was either on at the ref or on at a teammate, and I really don't like that from a football player like that represents me.
Yeah, fair enough. I do believe that disrespect. If you don't go on the manager, don't let it show in your body language. And as you know, I am a body language expert.
Of course.
I see it too. So I agree with both of you on the panel. And let's go through a couple of comments about this, because it always stirs up debate, doesn't it? Big T saying here, McTominay misses chances and the hate comes out. How many has Haaland missed? I can only presume it's because McTominay is Scottish. Mr. B said,
You're such a fool.
Yeah. Welcome back, Big T. We missed you. Aaron Bat is not the player I thought we were getting, says Mr. B. I'm with you on that as well. Stephanie Griffith saying McTominay's free head in the first half was worse missed than Spurs' last-minute chance sets the tone for the team. Misses impact team mindset as well. So yeah, it's true. If we put away our chances, we could have buried this game. Double A is saying Garnacho was poor. Bruno missed kick the set piece. Lucky Casemiro was present at the time. Amrabat was sluggish. Commas, please, commas. Amrabat was sluggish. Rashford was non-existent during the game. Our defense and Onana is the best unit at the moment. Okay. Double A, thank you so much for that. Andrew Williams saying Rashford wasn't offering again over the top. I've already touched on that. Stephanie Griffiths in the house. How you doing? Please for Casemiro. Felt sorry for him with Bruno and McTominay helping him in defensive midfield duties. I use the term very loosely, defensive duties, she's saying there. Double A again saying at least through to the next round. That's what counts. It's true. Stephanie Gren saying Bruno and McTominay are forwards, not midfielders. She's saying here, to be fair, Rashford was injured, still had tequila tendinitis. That's a joke from Belfast, isn't it? From the Belfast Adventures. In my opinion, nobody's going to buy Rashford. We will want 80 million plus, and I don't think no one is dumb enough to pay it. And Dora, we must watch.
Yes, Fantastic Four, Invisible Woman, part of the Fantastic Four.
Oh, yeah. Tell me more. What do you know about Fantastic Four?
I'll first ever Marvel family. There were, I think, first two movies during 2000s. I think it was a TV series in the 90s. I can't remember. I was too young. But 2000s, Jessica Alba was an Invisible Woman. Yeah. And then, the bad one in 2015, where Michael B. Jordan was Johnny Storm, and it was. But now we have another one coming in 2025, I think. So, yeah.
Did you know
quite a lot. Yeah.
Did you know that Reed Richards and the Invisible Woman had a child? And that child, Franklin Richards, I think his name is, went on to be one of the most powerful characters.
Yes, omni-powered kid. Yes, I wish United are like this, but yeah.
Yes, it's a United reaction show, not a long-made in the history of Marvel Comics.
All right.
You're just jealous.
Everyone say hi to Shopping Solutions. Rashford was getting fired. He should drop him. We were playing with 10 men. I was thinking that. I was thinking, Rashford during the performance, are you playing like this to get the man out of the club? Because no one's really picking on you. Amondi, the commas are there. You just can't see them. They are comma.
Very good.
We come and
Very
go.
good.
Very good, yeah. 80s pop songs. DK Wilson saying here, I do wonder how many players approach Ten Hag in his office, or do they feel they can? It seems they need a team-wide airing out of everything of their minds. Do you think that's helped sometimes by half-time to sort of challenge the manager, or get together and have a representative to go to tell the manager, look, man, we're unhappy with A, B, and C, and a bit of communication like that? Would that help?
I think that the way that Ten Hag acts like a sort of military general means that is almost impossible. You have to treat people like adults in order to have adult conversations, and Ten Hag emails them about what socks he wants them to wear. So I wouldn't have thought that it would be that productive.
All right. Well, we're through. We got to half time. We should have been up. We were dominating the game. Some don't believe, but I felt we did based on the evidence I've just provided. Second half was a bit weaker, though. I didn't think there was too much going on.
Really?
Yeah, it didn't see much going on. I was actually switching off. I don't like to do that, but I was switching off, looking at my phone and just wondering about, thinking about the show later on. Always kind of.
So you thought we dominated? You thought we dominated the first half, and we were weaker second.
Well, there wasn't many chances. I've got my pen and paper out, and oh my god, on the 58th minute, look at this chance we created. There wasn't many chances in the second half, from what I remember. Unless guys can let me know. But we made a sub. It's good to see Anthony come off, and the guy Ahmad come on. And just to add, I'm going to throw this out there. When I saw him running back, his legs were moving, like the turnover. His legs was like one of those cartoons,
Yeah,
with his spinning legs, but he wasn't really making ground.
Lacks running power, doesn't he?
Yeah. That's something that stood out to me. But on the ball, you mentioned it the other day, Bath time, about a player getting it was. You mentioned it when you gave your analysis on Forson. You said you got the ball, popped into feet, give and go, cut inside. I see Ahmad having a similar sort of attribute.
Well, we saw him doing it once. I didn't think that Ahmad really covered himself in glory. I'd like to see him do well, despite the fact he looks like a little Nas X, who Omondi, if you don't know who that is, don't even.
I do actually know who that is, and
okay, yeah. But I think that his ball striking was pretty poor. It contributed to a moment that made me throw something at the wall, where I don't know if you remember this, but the ball was bouncing to him, and he could have taken it, and we could have moved on attacking. And instead, Bruno shouted at him, and then just did that John Smith advert and went have it, and just booted it over the top for Rashford. It was very frustrating. But I think, to me, right, the story of the second half was I thought Amrabat was pretty good in the second half, and I felt he really added. I don't think he's at United quality, but when he started getting on the ball and getting in next to Casemiro, who was pretty anonymous until Casemiro had a really poor game apart from the goal, in my opinion. I know he got in the first half, it looked like he got hit in the eye and he was bleeding from it. So maybe that affected him. But I felt that when Amrabat went next to him, the team looked a lot better. We were keeping the ball, we were spreading it, and it was just the quality up front. It was just still rubbish. But I thought Amrabat was really good, was the best player second half.
Thoughts on the second half, Dora and Ahmad as well. What do you think of him as a player? Any future for him?
I don't think so. In all honesty, I like the guy. I think that he has the technique. I think in the Fulham game a few days ago, I thought that when Ahmad came in on that right side, we kind of started, creating more. But today, I don't think so. I don't think he affected the game that much. And I unfortunately don't think Ten Hag rates him because he's not as fast as, for example, someone like Anthony or even Garnacho when he is on that right side. And I believe that he is not still. I think he's too. I think physically he's not ready to play full 90 minutes off, against someone like, Nottingham Forest or Burnley, those, hard teams or a Premier League team. But I mean, in the second half, we started poorly in the first 5 minutes. I think we were poor. I think we were misplacing a lot of passes. And then after that, I think in Forest, the more we went towards the end of the game, the Forest started opening up. We started opening up as well, hence why they had more chances and, they started creating something from the counterattacks or half counterattacks. we did as well. Hence, like Amrabat had acres of space in the middle of the pitch. Like he was running around, he was running through the middle, and he was trying to find wingers and whoever was running the space. But what I really don't like about this team, like I don't think that we played as bad as we did against Fulham, for example. But what I don't like about this team is that Forest obviously set quite deep. And then you have Rashford, who is quite fast. You have Garnacho, who is quite fast. I mean, he was dead on the feet. That's a manager's fault. He needed to come off, in my opinion. But you have that guy. You have Anthony on the right. Bruno is also running a lot. You have McTominay, who is a big presence in the opposing box. Why not use these guys? Why not attack their, higher, like they had a high line at one point and no one ran into space, or even if they did run into space, no one was picking up those passes. And I think once again it feels like, as Bedtime said, you see them, oh my god, this is a pass that is going to put them in front of the opposing goal, and then someone yells at the other person, and then they change their mind and they are trying to overlap and complicate things. Like, I just feel that this team likes simple football. I mean, it's not even like, it's not a nuclear physics. It's not nuclear physics. Just pass it into space. Try something. And I know sometimes that will be predictable, but if you try it, a few times, you send that perfect pass. The opposing player or defender is not going to be able to stop it. You are in front of the goal, and everything is fine. I just felt that we didn't, do our jobs really well there. I thought that they were quite deep in the middle of the second half, and we should have done better in those situations.
Do you know what it was like, Dora? Have you ever played like FIFA or Pro Evo or anything like that?
Mm-hmm.
And you get the buttons wrong. So like you're shooting instead of crossing and things like
that.
It
happens. Like when you transfer from PES to FIFA, it's circle and square thing.
Yeah.
I want to shoot and then I cross it. It's the same thing. It's awful.
Anthony's been on them settings for ages.
Oh my days.
That's true. That's funny.
I thought Garnacho, I like Garnacho. He's really improved as a player. I thought I didn't think he was great again tonight. I thought he was poor against Fulham. And the lad's in such need of a rest, I feel, and we're going to play him against City. And when you look at like Ahmad and you look at Alanga's built for the Premier League and he's built to be an outside player, right? Nowhere near the same level of technical ability as Ahmad, but much more effective in wide areas. I think that Ahmad's got to be used centrally. And one of the problems that we had tonight with Amrabat inverting, even though I liked quite a lot of what he did in the second half, he was dreadful first half. But one of the problems we had is that Ahmad didn't have Dalot overlapping because Dalot was sitting next to Varane and Lindelof. And once again, I sort of feel that we're kind of sacrificing the wrong players. Like, I don't think like Ahmad, whose career isn't on target and stuff, and he looks like a good boy. He's never given us any problems. We made an investment in him when we asked him to move to a new country. I'm going to assume we just lied our asses off to him as we always do, and we sent him all over the bloody place. But I feel that like stuff like that from Ten Hag is things that I don't like. Where I think just keep Anthony out there, who wasn't having a bad. I mean, he wasn't having a great game, but he wasn't terrible. Anthony was following instructions and stuff like that. And I feel that once again we just put Ahmad on with no help around him, and was like, look, go and play for your future. And he did one nice moment where he came inside the way Forsen did and combined, but Bruno was back to the Bruno that we know lives inside him. And I mean, so Dora was talking about how the players were all sort of shouting at each other and being demonstrative in their anger. I remember there was a moment in the second half where Rashford took a ridiculous shot when, if he'd put it across the box, McTominay could have had a tap in. It's difficult to say these things. Yeah. But I saw the way McTominay reacted, and he was just pointing at his feet, and then he shook his head and he got on with the game.
Yeah.
And Bruno and Rashford, like they're more like pantomime villains than they are footballers at the moment. Like, like I hate this attitude, because when you play in a team, especially in the midfield, you'll sometimes see a winger or a striker make the most ridiculous run, and you've got no one to pass to because they're like sprinting 60 yards up the pitch. So you've got to turn inside, play it back, keep the ball, and you just see them waving their arms about. You're like, get to, whatever. You're not, and I felt that's what they were doing all the time today. And I hate it because the team, it just feels fractured on Monday.
Yeah. I mean, it's getting really tiring to saw that every week. And you know that, it's disrupting the team chemistry. What chemistry, right? But I think that these situations don't help. And I think Bruno is a senior player right now. He's not a 25-year-old player that we bought a few years ago. He needs to grow up. He's a 29-year-old senior player of this team, and he's a captain. And I think he needs to, I'm done with Rashford. I am getting to that point where I see that he is slowly but surely, he will walk away from this club. And you know what? I don't mind it. I'm already fine with it, in all honesty.
It's not going to run, is he?
I mean, yeah, of course. He's going to walk. He's not, even. I wouldn't be surprised if he crawls. But, after some time, you kind of get detached. And these bad performances and these letdowns from this squad of players, and they know who they are in the last few seasons, they really wore me off. And I'm like, you know what, just go. And Bruno is really getting to that point with me, because he's throwing stinkers every single week. I don't know how he played today. He was not as bad as he was against Fulham and that, but he wasn't exceptional as well. I think even BBC commentators started, going at him, because he was yelling at his teammates, and he, misplaced few passes as well. And what I really don't like about players, I don't mind captains moaning to the refs. I said it millions of times. I really don't care. But if you are supposedly fouled and then you sit on the ground when the play is still on, and then other players need to cover you defensively because you are sitting there trying to earn an Oscar, an Academy Award for lying on the ground.
They both did that, didn't they?
Yes, both Rashford and both Bruno. And people are saying, oh, you're scapegoating. I'm not scapegoating. Watch the games. They are a huge problem in this squad as well. They are a huge problem, and it's getting tiring. And I know Ten Hag is never going to drop Bruno. He's never going to drop Rashford. And we will have to see those guys play every single week for the rest of the season. And I really don't like that. I'm not looking forward to it. I'm tired. And I know I'm so agitated right now, but yeah. I've had enough. I'm really had enough with these players. We are watching this every single week for the past year and a half. Since that FA Cup loss, we are seeing same players throwing stinkers every single week, and I'm sick and tired of it, in all honesty.
Can I suggest, Dora, I don't often see your hands, but when you were going off there, we could see your hands coming into screen with how animated you are and passionate you are about it. Yeah, that's it. Wave them. Jazz hands. But just like I was saying before, there you go. Don't you think that you give them a lot of scrutiny because they are talented players and because they're sort of maybe the better players in the club and you expect better from them? So with ability-wise, clearly they've got a lot of ability. Bruno's a rated player. Rashford's wanted by PSG apparently, and he's England international. He does have blitzes where he scores that goal. He's a threat. If you're coming up against him, you're going to be a bit concerned. But is it a character defect with these two players? Or are you questioning their talent as well, both of you? Is it a character defect, or are you actually questioning the talent? Because I don't question their talent. I think they got it.
Bad time, you go first.
Well, I mean, when you were talking, Dora, it reminded me of something that I've forgotten about, which is in the first half, Bruno played a ridiculous pass, like one of those crossfield Hollywood balls, and then Anthony wasn't able to control it. And a move breakdown, and it cut to Fergie in the crowd next to Brailsford and someone else. And I'm not a lip reader or whatever, but I'm pretty sure that Ferguson was talking about Bruno.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, because I just play it inside and transition from the center. Very simple. But in terms of like their ability, I mean, Bruno's an odd player because he doesn't have like a refined technique in a lot of things. He's not a great carrier of the ball. He doesn't have like an elite first touch. He's not really a dribbler. What he's very good at is striking a football, like, and knocking it like hitting it with power when he's shooting. All right, not tonight. He didn't connect with anything, or knocking it over the top. But it's more his kind of attitude in terms of that he is constantly looking to try the impossible. What are you doing? Who is Dora Minnelli?
Liza Minnelli, jazz hands.
Oh, how you know about Liza Minnelli?
I know a lot of things. I'm a popular like we need to. If I ever meet you in real, like in face to face, we need to go to the pub.
Can have a pop off.
Yes, pub quiz and on popular culture. Sorry, bad time.
That's all right. You do your jazz hands as much as you want, Dora. So I think Bruno is actually not. It doesn't have as good a skill set as we sort of think. Whereas Rashford certainly does. He lacks in, like, apart from the mental stuff, he lacks in two big areas, which is holding the ball up and heading the ball. But the thing is, Omondi, is that I think now that they're bad for the club because they are the senior players and they are the players that everyone looks to get us a result or whatever. And can you tell me the last time you saw what you would class as a mature performance from Rashford or from Bruno?
Good question. But I just want to say there's a bit of skill he done today where he always does this chop thing, shapes to shoot, cuts
then the Trivella,
two-footed, and then he curled it with his outside of his right foot and just went over. If that goes in, we would be saying, wow, fantastic. He's just, I think he's trying too hard. The talent for me is there. I think he can control games given a chance, but I just think, like you said, I remember that when Alex Ferguson, they panned into Alex Ferguson. And I think if Alex Ferguson was there, or he had a manager that would actually grill him about these things and get him playing properly, we'd have a 10, 15% better player than we have now. It's a bit OTT, everything's a bit too much, a bit too dramatic for me, trying to be like the match winner. It's like, show some respect to the other players, show respect to the team, and play a team game.
Is this poor management?
Sorry?
Is that are you saying this is poor management from Ten Hag?
No, I don't think it's poor management because I think he's in a situation now, like Dora was saying, where he can't drag people off because they are clearly the better players, and you don't want to sort of make things worse. He's already reprimanded Rashford, and now the rumours coming out, Rashford doesn't like him, they don't get on, he doesn't respect him. So if you want to manage it, sometimes you have to sort of ease up and say, right, I'm not going to trouble that yet. I'll wait till the end of the season and see if we can get rid of him, or it's me or him. So if I take him off, how do I know he's not going to go to the media and orchestrate something against me? So you have to be really careful how you deal with certain players, especially with the Brunos and Rashford, because they're the ones likely to try and bury you behind the scenes. I don't think
Bruno is. I think Bruno is the club man.
Yeah.
Like Rashford, yeah, you get that impression because of his focus on PR and his public image, and he's a proud man, Rashford, isn't he? Like any kind of public slight, he goes, it's so over the top, his reactions to it. Like he made Ollie apologize. He's had a fight with a famous fan channel. Like it just,
my face.
Yeah, what is wrong with you? Just act like a Manchester United player. Get your head down and pass to McTominay when he's open.
Yeah.
Also about Bruno, is it maybe that people are saying his best performances were in the national team in Portugal. Of course, he had better players there without a doubt. But they were kind of playing boring football with a lot of control and possession under Fernando Santos. But even there, like, they sacked that guy, or is he still? I think Roberto Martinez is now there. It's not better for Portugal fans, but you know what I mean. But it feels like, even in those controlled situations where he's playing in the possession-based, slow build-up, controlled teams, he feels like he isn't very good there. Like, I'm not saying that, like, it feels like that I think that he can only play insanely good when he's in transitional team. Is that a good assessment?
That's an interesting thought. He definitely played his best football under Solskjaer, and I don't think that this is a deluded point. United under Solskjaer, certainly during the COVID years, were up there as the best counter-attacking team in Europe.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I agree.
And Bruno, he was obviously a beneficiary of early VAR, where there was a penalty every other game, and Bruno's an exceptional penalty taker. But I think it's really interesting where you say that he doesn't have the belief that he can play in a possession team. Do you mean that he feels that his attributes and stuff aren't being used properly when it's about keeping the ball, working the block, finding the spaces?
I think so. I mean, even his movement at times, like, for example, against Fulham, there was this, like, if he doesn't run there, Rashford is there, he controls the ball, he is alone in front of the, like, he is literally colliding with other players on the pitch. Like, we talked about it earlier in the season, why, for example, Højlund wasn't working necessarily in the team at the beginning of the season, because same players, like 2-3 players were coming into space, in the same space, and they were just, blocking each other and, making a mess of the attack. From what I saw of Bruno Fernandes in the Portugal national team, where I saw him in the controlled team, where he is possession-based, he isn't as good as he was, for example, under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, where we were the best transitional team. But even last year as well, for example, last season, he wasn't really good. He had, in my opinion, until this season, the worst season, except maybe Ralf Ragnick, that was a poor season. Everyone had a poor season then. But last season, he was poor for the most of it, and then he kind of started playing.
Right. When you say poor, what is poor?
Well, he, for example, he's how do you say it?
Hollywood losing passes. The ball. Okay, right. Okay.
I mean, losing the ball was kind of his thing even before, but right now, he didn't, for example, lack of the penalties, lack of the touches in the opposing box. I think the whole team was guilty of it. I think during all his years, we had most touches in the opposing box. When everything fell apart, when Ten Hag came in, I didn't see it anymore. And he was really good there. I think a lot of things that were great for him, for example, under Ole, of course, I don't think he kind of got that under Ten Hag. And now I know people are going to say, oh, but last season again, he had GA, he had blah. I mean, on the eye test, and if you watched every single game, you could see that this wasn't the same Bruno that we had in the first 18 months. And I think that, the injuries of Martial, I think he's being poor. Rashford last season he was good, but him as well, he's not consistent enough. Greenwood leaving, we got Anthony on the right, Sancho left as well. Like, these players that have been scoring goals and, propping up his, how do you say it, stats and, helping him get those assists and the goals, were either gone or they just didn't play anymore. They were injured, or blah, blah, blah. So I think a lot has changed. But from the only controlled, I didn't watch him at Sporting, in all honesty, that much. I watched him in the Portugal team. They were playing controlled. He wasn't really great there. They were only great when they were playing San Marino, Bosnia and Herzegovina, and those lesser teams. When it came to big competitions, I thought that his strengths weren't utilized. I think
probably say the same about De Bruyne, to be honest, in international football.
You could say that, you could say that, but I would say that he, I don't think this Ten Hag system is really suiting him, in all honesty.
Okay, let's see what the comments say, because they've been chiming in on this Bruno situation. Bart saying, is Bruno carrying an injury? It was an injury doubt, wasn't he, before the game? Andrew saying, yeah, it was a doubt before the game. Big up to Michael Zachariah. My name's also Zacchaeus. This town is not big enough for two of us, so one of us has to go. Big up Michael, though. Nice to see you. Bruno was worse today than against Fulham, but scumbagged an assist. Okay, he did.
Did he double kick the ball? When he is that what they were checking when he took the free kick?
I saw that, but I don't think he double kicked it.
I thought they were looking at if someone blocked the Forest player and Casemiro just, maybe there was a foul, offensive foul or something.
I thought they were talking about the thing about Varane, which they dismissed straight away. Varane blocking the defender. That seems to be a thing these days. DK Wilson, which is why I said they appear to need airing at an airing out meeting. And I mean the players only. This happens a lot in US pro sports. I don't hear about that happening in European football as well. Talking about players getting together. Big T saying here, Bruno's face must be injured the amount of time as he holds it. Rashford's 25% of world-class players, says Andrew Williams. The other 75%, not so much. Obviously we've got Dora Minelli from We Deserve Better after Liza, which Dora knew, which I was surprised by. And Stephanie saying here, well said, Dora, spot on. And Bruno and Rashford wouldn't get into any of the top 10 Premier League teams. They wouldn't want them. Says it all, really. Stephanie Griffiths is also saying here, Bruno P-roller effort just before halftime is shocking and his corners are terrible. Only penalties are decent. Here's one from you. You're saying, NBA fans, Bruno is better than RJ Barrett of the English. Bruno is the RJ Barrett of the English Premier League. Good at everything, but not world class. Is Barrett the guy who's drafted a couple of years ago, young guy?
Yeah, he was in the same team as Zion Williamson in Duke.
That's right.
And New York Knicks drafted him. They thought he was going to be insane, but he is a solid player, but he isn't world class. Like he is good at everything, but he doesn't have a massive advantage over someone.
You could say the same about New York franchise. They're not very good at anything. Really are.
Right now they are, so you need to check that they're quite good, right?
You reckon they could? Anyway, let's not talk about NBA.
The bet time is going to just leave.
Andrew Williams saying here, the amount of bad free kicks and corners Bruno had and shots and passes, Bruno here, it's just not focused on enough. He is dire. Stephanie Griffiths again saying Bruno and Rashford undroppable. Why injuries, performance, attitude of all three. Again, she's saying here, Rashford has written into his contract not to tackle, always chickens out, in my opinion. Michael Zachariah again saying here, the problem with United is our fullbacks and wingers. Imagine if Bruno had creative wingers like Mahrez and the guy from Napoli.
He never passes to the winger, though. That's why I prefer McTominay in the number 10, because McTominay gives it simply out to the wingers. And when Bruno gets the ball, he's always looking in for the ball in behind, which wouldn't suit Mahrez or the guy with the unpronounceable name.
And we've got Bart saying here, the only time United actually controlled games and showed a distinct style of play was during the Louis van Gaal reign. He would have cooked with a midfield three of Carrick, Pogba, and Herrera. Michael Zachariah again saying Bruno in the City team will be hitting world-class numbers. Andrew Williams saying he wouldn't play, doesn't respect the ball enough, Michael. So they're having a little back and forth on that. Salford wouldn't take him on loads as Big P. And Zachariah again is saying Andrew Williams, Bruno has a high football IQ. He wouldn't definitely play for Pep. He wouldn't definitely play for Pep as well. And they're going back and forth with that.
Do you think he gets in the City? Do you think he gets in the City team?
If he played a specific role, I think he would definitely play.
Over whom?
But I think he'd have more respect and sort of change himself. The other day, the guy they bought from Wolves was playing on the left of wide left. Wasn't complaining. He got in the game and played pretty well there. Nunes, whatever his name is, or guy with a strong runner. He played out there. So I think it's about respect a lot of the time.
But who would he play instead of?
Well, you've got Phil Foden. You've got Phil Foden and Kevin De Bruyne. so he could play for one of those positions maybe. Well, we talk about respect. Let's put some respect. Let's put some respect on this guy's. This is Casemiro. You can see he's timed his run perfectly and got in and scored a goal, a last-minute goal. Didn't he score the goal in the cup final last year? Didn't he score some crucial headed goals previously? He's not the tallest, but he does time his runs. This is one attribute you have to give him credit for. Also, you might say physically he's gone, or he might not perform, or he gets. I saw one move where Morgan White turned around, saw Casemiro has faced him, and saw it's showtime. Let me just knock the ball past you and run, and it made it look easy. And then when Casemiro was filling in at right back, when someone went forward, I think Della went forward. I think it was Elanga, just easy, just rode past him like he's. But you have to give credit. You're going to talk about the negatives. Let's talk about the positives. This guy is clutch. He steps up, scores crucial goals. And today again, he's done it again. Just going back to my main point, we dominated the game. Look at the possession stats. Look at the shots. I think that's enough to say we can sort of have a lot of control there. Dora, you're smiling. Are you smiling at the goal or are you smiling at the possession stats?
I'm smiling at the goal.
Tell us more about that goal then.
I mean, for once in his life, I would say good free kick by Bruno. I thought that, Casemiro was always, even during his Real Madrid days, he was always great in the air. I always thought that was his great strength. It's really nice to see that even despite having one of the worst set pieces in the league, Casemiro steps up and he actually scores from them, and I'm actually really grateful for that. When it comes to possession and all that, it's refreshing to see us having more percentage in possession than, the other games where we are, lacking in it. But once again, I thought that a few times, I think the team put Onana on, under a lot of pressure when they were attacking from transition, Elanga, Gibbs, White, and after that, Divock Origi had a chance as well. So I thought even I know that most of those chances were shot at Onana, but I thought that he handled them quite well. So kudos to him. A great goal by Casemiro, always clutch, as you say, despite everything. He stepped up and couldn't. And I was in shock, to be quite honest, but I was really happy seeing this.
Bath time, before we come to you, Casemiro is amazing in the air from set pieces, says Andrew Williams. Double A saying Casemiro and Varane need some respect for sure. Michael is saying here, Casemiro headers in cup games are the sweetest clutch. We've got nobody attacks the ball like him in our squad, says Andrew Williams. These are all positive comments about our boy Casemiro, who stepped up again. I know you criticise him, but you have to give bring some balance here. He's done a good job tonight by scoring that goal. And shows some good qualities there.
Yeah, he was extremely poor up until that moment. But this is what matters in football, is that I think it was a mishit free kick. But Casemiro, he saw the space, and to be honest, it's very similar to the sort of goals that Cavani used to score. He anticipated where the ball was going to go in, got ahead of it, and actually, that's not the easiest header in the world to score. You've just got to kiss the ball with your forehead. If you get too much contact, you'll just knock it out for a goal kick. Casemiro has real quality in the penalty box, so I'm delighted that he scored, and I'm really, really pleased that we're through. But this goal, for me, doesn't gloss over a huge amount of problems I've seen today. I mean, you're talking about we dominated the game. Like, we had four? We had four more shots than them. That doesn't sound like a domination to me at all. I thought one person that was mentioned by Double A is Varane. I thought Varane was really good today. I thought he was good on the ball. Not good on the ball, but he was the only one that was looking after the ball and respecting it. And Casemiro, I thought he was hiding from a yellow card for the majority of the match. I don't know if he's on a suspension or something, but he did produce quality when it mattered, and I'm delighted and indebted to him for doing that. But that can't be all we take from his performance, because he was He was dire again in the midfield today. He's not the same player that he was this time last year. And we've got to find a way to give a platform to these players. And if that means dropping them, or like dropping Bruno and Rashford and Casemiro, then so be it. But I just don't think that this one goal takes away from a poor performance. All it sticks us in the next round. We've got Liverpool, boys.
We're home or away?
Yeah.
Home.
At home.
Worse.
Does that really matter? I don't know. Well, there you go, guys. Casemiro has put us through tonight. Just going to go through. Anyone stands out for you, Dora, for a shout for man in the match, maybe, or someone you're impressed with, or someone that you want to talk on? We haven't really spoken on tonight.
Well, I thought Onana did good today. I'm always up for criticizing players, but I need to give him his flowers. I thought Onana did good today. As Batam said, first time Amrabat was awful, but second time he was much better. Anthony wasn't as dreadful as he is, but he did okay today, in my opinion. If I had to choose, I would say once again, Dalot.
Yes.
So
yeah.
I know that some people still don't like him. He's been convincing me this season a lot that he is probably one of our most important players. The way we play and build up with him as an inverted fullback or a fourth midfielder, as you would say, he helps a lot. Like even in the second half, when we try to, when we try to move the attack from the right to the left, Amrabat and Dalot, changed their play. Dalot went on the left, Amrabat went on the right, and then we started trying to do something. We kind of sacrificed that right side for the left because Ten Hag. So Rashford is there, Bruno is there. We could use it. It kind of worked because the foul came from there and we scored from that side. So he is obviously really important, and he kind of started in progressing in terms of his his crosses. Like his crosses have been much better, especially in the last few weeks, and I wish we crossed more. From what really bothered me today when it came to stats was I think BBC put it out on the screen. There were 4 Forest players who had 7 or 8 touches in our box, and only McTominay had from the Manchester United team with 4 or 5 touches in the box. I'm all right. I'm okay with people shooting outside of the box, but if you are creating something, trying to create something, why not, finish that attack and stop shooting non-stop from the edge of the box? And I thought that Dalot, despite Ten Hag being, struggling this season to create anything or, coach or whatever, I think Dalot is the only one who actually understands how we are trying to play. He crosses, he's trying to find people in the box, and he is not forcing that ball and shooting when you don't have to shoot. And I really appreciate that. Even defensively, in the past, defensively, he was poor. Few times this season, he kind of fell asleep, but, he really, really, like everyone else fell asleep. Everyone else was poor. He kind of fell in that hole as well, but he improved so much. He is probably our most important player this season.
I took the words right out of my mouth. I've got nothing more to say. You said it all for me. Dalot, for me, really stood out today. Again, and I just want to go through a few comments before I come to you, Bath Time. Ratcliffe Masterclass, says Zachariah. He's also said Onana was class today. Onana seems to be growing in confidence, says Double A. We've got Andrew Williams saying Casemiro for me, but he wasn't brilliant. Obviously, the goal helps. Dalot created 3 to 4 big chances, said Double A. Michael's saying here, Amrabat is also a good shout. Played in 3 positions, left back, centre midfield, and right back as well. Man in the match was Onana, says Big T. And Dalot, more than likely going to get player of the year for us this season. Over to you, Bath Time. Let's wrap it up. Just an honourable mention to anyone else, but do you agree with Dora about Dalot? You said yes as well.
Yeah, I thought Dalot played really well. My only issue with Dalot is that when we saw Amrabat invert into the midfield, we saw much more expansive passing than we ever get, than Delo inverts inside. So maybe there is an argument to be made that, like, if we are inverting like someone, they need a bit more in that area than Delo. But I love Delo. I think he's been fantastic this season. I think it was great tonight. I'm quite interested about what you thought of Varane and Lindelof. I thought Varane had a very good game. And Lindelof, I felt, did all right again. Like, when you take away the sort of fact that he's not left-footed and stuff, he made some really important blocks in the first half when Amrabat was asleep and they were playing channel. They were like working the channel. I think that Lindelof probably had a better game than most people suspect, and that all of them chances was really the result of Casemiro, McTominay, and Bruno not all the rest of them. The midfield and the attack weren't working hard enough, and they weren't being intelligent in their pressing and their positioning. And one thing I was really delighted about that I forgot was at the end of the first half, we went into a block with 2 minutes to go. We didn't go and try and press them except for Rashford. And that is something that I think Ten Hag has probably learned from Jamie Carragher. Because
oh my days.
There'd have been no point in pressing there. All we had to do was see out the next minute of the half, and I like that. But I think Lindelof would be my unsung hero, and Delo would be my man of the match.
So nice. Honourable mention for Lindelof, and you made a good point there about him. Andrew Williams, here's his rating. He's gone for 5 for Onana. A lot of people disagreed. And Rashford gets a 4. 5 is probably average, isn't it? And Garnacho gets a 4 as well. So Andrew's being fair. His man of the match based on that is probably Casemiro and Scott McTominay, as you can see there. And Lindelof is given a 6 with Delo. So yeah,
I think those are decent ratings, to be honest. Yeah. I'd score Onana a little bit higher, because maybe it's just because he set the bar so bloody low in the Champions League that anytime he saves something, even if it's directly at him, I'm like, yes, we're finally getting £50 million a goalkeeper.
It's funny how one game can change a tune, because now Michael's saying Varane and Lindelof partnership is better than Varane and Maguire. It's interesting that when people get a run of games, we do seem to say, all right, yeah, this is the main guy now. But yeah, it's up for debate, isn't it? It's always up for debate. Lucky Singh, how you doing? Fraser, I can't read. I don't know. You can see it there, guys, if you want to read that. Lucky Singh, how you doing, bro? Good to see you. Spilled a few in dangerous areas, says Andrew Williams, talking about the goalkeeper. And that's why I marked him down. So it's just justifying his low score. Guys, that's a wrap. We are all about Man City coming up this weekend. But unfortunately, Bath Time is not going to be around, because you're going to Seville City to chill out and enjoy yourself. And I hope you have a great trip. And
get really drunk. Yeah, I can't wait.
I really hope you enjoy yourself. It's good to get a break, and especially this time of year when it's still cold.
Yeah, I will be back on Sunday, and so it depends on I will watch the match on Sunday. There won't be an eye test on Monday, because I have to stay late at work to do all the stuff that I'm missing tomorrow, which is a future Darius problem. Like, at the moment, like, I am really looking forward to it. Just before we go on Monday, I've just remembered that our friend Rich is streaming. So I'm going to put his link in the description, and everyone can go there and carry on chatting to Man United fans if they want, or just experience the genius of G-Wolf.
That's Rich Sports, guys. Go and check out Rich Sports. They'll be streaming. So if you want to hear more about Man United, we have a great panel over there. One of our brothers, cousins in this podcasting world. So big up to Rich Sports. Go and check them out after the show. And big up to Dora. Thanks again for joining us, Dora. Coming a regular. We love having you here. And most of the guys in the comments agree with that too. Thank you again. It's probably midnight over where you are now, so it's getting pretty late. But
yes, it is. Yeah. I don't mind, being awake right now. I'll probably catch up on Eurovision stuff. You know what? I'm all in Eurovision mode. It's at the end of the February. I'm waiting for that May. We kind of got our, candidate for the Eurovision in Sweden. So it will be interesting. So I'm
Is it
into
big in
that.
Croatia?
Oh,
Like, does the whole village
That
go out
time.
and watch it?
I grew up on
Wow.
Eurovision. I grew up on it. So I can't, like, it's not, oh my God, all of us are gathered here and we are all watching. Like, you know, it's a family stuff, like, right? It's a huge thing. Before Croatia was there. But this year, after so many years, we might have a song for top 10. So I'm really excited.
What's the criteria for Eurovision? Because obviously it's different. It's a bit cheesy. But what's the criteria for making a good song? Because I've heard some good songs that don't make it.
I mean,
what do you think?
I think
over the years, of some of these songs that have won it, I've just a bit confused. What
I
makes
mean, it
the
depends.
Finland one?
Sorry?
You ever see the Finnish one, Lordi?
Yeah.
That is absolutely
rock. Hallelujah!
That is absolutely amazing. They're all dressed as like devils. You'll hate it, Omondi.
Oh no, yeah, I know the one. I know the
they're
one.
shooting fireworks out of the guitar and things. It's absolutely,
and they won it.
Amazing. Yeah, that's
in
a legendary
2006
Eurovision one.
I remember Bucks Fizz winning it back in '81.
Are they the ones that took the skirts
Making
off?
Your Mind Up. What a great song that was.
Yeah, England, like UK, so you know they had some stinkers like 0.0 points.
Jordan,
2 years ago, you were great. You were great. Last year, I thought that they were, you know, the waters were harsh on your representative, but
Gina G, who are just a little bit, who are a little bit more.
Oh, were they on there?
Yeah, she was a Eurovision Song Country entrance. That is a banging song.
Very catchy, that tune, isn't it?
Yeah. So
I'll send it to you, Dora. You'll love it.
Please. I mean, I'm all in Eurovision right now. So
there was an Israeli woman who transitioned.
Dana International.
Dana,
Victoria, Viva Victoria, Cleopatra.
Dora, I can imagine
something like that.
Should we do a watch along for Eurovision? Dora, would you host?
Oh my God, yeah.
I would love that. If I get a good camera, I would love a watch along. It will be amazing. Omondi will talk about 80s, you know, 70s.
Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four. I would talk about, you know, Balkan representatives, you know, Serbia, Bosnia, Croatia, you know, it would be amazing. So I'm up for it.
That's the deal. Anyone in the comments want to see that? I definitely would be part of that for 100%. Terry Wogan used to host it, didn't he, for us over here in the UK?
Yeah.
I think Ireland had a good few hits as well.
I mean, they won it 7 times on Monday, and you know, in the last 20 years, they have been really poor. Ireland, unfortunately.
I think Riverdance comes from Eurovision, doesn't it? I think it was the halftime show, and everyone went mental for it.
Wow! I didn't.
You seen it, Dora? It's such a weird form of dancing.
I saw it. My mother loved it. My mother sometimes, you know, opens it up on YouTube and she's like, "Oh my God, look at them dancing!" You know, she's.
Just to cut you guys, big up Michael Zachariah. Thanks for joining us today. We stream every night during the week at 9 p.m. Add, you know, the little alarm on your notification. Press that little alarm, and you'll get a notification where we're on. But it's usually 9 o'clock most weekdays, and we cover the games at the weekend and do post-match shows as well. Monday nights we do a show called The Eye Test with Bath Time, breaks down tactically what goes on the football pitch. It's a really interesting show for those who are nerds on football like myself and Dora. On Tuesdays it's usually a quiz or something random depending on the fixture list. Wednesday we have a free-for-all like a Royal Rumble. Everyone involved with the channel jumps on with guests, and you're welcome to if you ever want to come on. Thursday nights is usually preview for the weekend. Friday night is Mr. B. He does his takeaway as well, which talks all about the Premiership as well. So big list of
and Eurovision watch-alongs apparently now.
Exactly. And Marvel's Fantastic Four debates, Comic-Con.
I think you should do film reviews on Monday. I'd love half an hour of you giving a review of like The Beekeeper or Meg 2, The Trench.
God, I can't believe I watched those things. I've got a Fire Stick now, so I'm just waiting for Godzilla -1 to come up.
Monday, I completely forgot to tell you this last night. You know, you were talking about City of God.
Yeah,
I've been there.
Where though? Where about? Oh, you've been to?
Yeah, I went on the tour, and I completely forgot.
So the City of God, is it the City of God tour?
Yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't know they did that.
It was absolutely terrifying. I went on it like about 8 or 9 years ago, and like I refused to get off the bus and go in the Favela, and there was everyone there like waving. But you know what happens in that film? Someone makes a mistake and they get shot in a nightclub. So I'm not having any of that. Yeah. So yeah, but I should have told you. I can't believe that I forgot that, because Rio is probably the worst place I've been in my life. I hated it.
Okay. Just quickly, Subvid saying he played Samba in Rio, and Michael Flattery, if you please,
Lord of the Dance.
Yeah, Lord of the Dance. This is the river dance, quick-footed, a bit like the can, but with little legs. A bit like Ahmad today, with his little legs running around. Dora, yeah, I'm kind of excited about doing a Eurovision watch along with you. And just to get the excitement up, yeah, it would be interesting. And bath time, you're saying about doing ATs or a movie watch or something. What do you think you would specialize in if you were to do like join bath time for his
Lord of the Rings?
There you go, of course. That's the read.
Lord of the Rings or the Alien films. I'm a big,
I'll join you on that. Oh, definitely.
Like, we can talk about what they represent and like the history of them and things. Like I'd love to do something like that, but I suppose actually in the summer we've got a bit of free time. I won't, because I'll be watching Love Island, so maybe we could do Love Island recaps. But we've got the Euros, haven't we? Dora, will you be around for the Euros? Because we should do like a show for that.
Of course, Croatia watch along. Croatia against Spain. Oh my God, I hate that national team with
I will be the most Spanish person ever.
Oh my God, it's always at the Euros against Spain. I hate it.
I'll get my cousins to send me a Spain shirt. I'll only talk in Spanish. Like
I will talk in Croatian. So join that international stream.
Omondi will translate. Don't worry.
Oh my God.
Okay, guys, that's enough for us. So yeah, I hope everyone's happy with the result today. I am. We're in the draw. We're playing Liverpool in the next round. Look, we're gonna come up against good teams, and we're playing Man City this weekend as well. That's another good team. So tune into the Man United agenda. Thanks, Dora. Thanks, Bath Time. Thanks to everyone in the comments. We're signing out now, and we will see you tomorrow at 9 p.m. later.